Yo, guys, I hope you're well. So, guys, I've got to get something off my chest. This has been niggling at me for a couple of days now. So, talking about the boat crossings, and I did a little bit of an update this morning. And in the last 10 days or so, we've had about 2,000 more people enter our country via the small boats and dinghies. But that's not where I've got the niggles. The niggles that I have been over Keir Starmer and Emmanuel Macron. They are forging a bromance, as people might call it. Is it a bromance? Something like that. They're best friends, they're best buddies. They've got together over the Ukraine and they are traveling all across Europe, slapping each other on the back, saying, look at me, look at me, look at me, look how great I am at sorting out this Ukraine issue, where they are forgetting that Donald Trump and his envoys are trying to sort out a peace deal with Russia and with Ukraine. And these things take time. But it's not even so much about that. So whilst Starmer and Macron are holding hands and dancing and slapping each other on the back and all these weird and wonderful things, here, and when we talk about security and borders, our borders and our security is being penetrated daily. So 2,000 people, and I did a bit of a study on that as well. They've only prevented 25% of illegals, migrants, whatever you want to call them, refugees, whatever it is, trying to enter our country. So I had a bit of a thought here. So for instance, I believe that we should, and I can't believe I'm saying this, so I do not believe in chipping, but I think everyone that comes here should be tagged. And the reason why I think they should be tagged is because from the moment and the point of entry, and from the moment they are recorded as coming onto UK shores, UK territories, we need to make certain that we can trace and track them and their movements. I'm hearing stories, this, that, and everything else about certain people who are looking to enter our country and to become part of our country. And they've come in via boat or whatever, have been involved in, let's say, unlawful activities. Would it not be easier to track these people if they were tagged? Because if they were tagged, we will know where they are or where they're supposed to be. And if they're not where they're supposed to be, then we can make whatever arrangements to make certain that they are. But also we can then very quickly and very efficiently check on whether or not someone who's accused of doing something, breaking the law, check that they were in a such and such a place at such and such a place and such a time. So that's just one thing that's niggled me. So if they are already being tagged, then we need to know about it. And if they're not being tagged, then I think they should be tagged, because until they get the all clear and then they are processed as and on their way to becoming a citizen of this country or a legal entrant to this country, I think we need to keep tabs on what they're doing and where they are at most times. So I was just thinking about that, but I was also thinking, so the way I understand this, and I have to admit I haven't read all of the rules and all the regulations as well, but if you have been a refugee or if you are a migrant fleeing from another country and you enter Europe, were you not supposed to reside at the nearest and the first available country? So for instance, you have Italy, you have the Netherlands, you have Belgium, you have France, you have Germany, you have all these other countries, Hungary, all these other countries in between before you get to the United Kingdom. So how is it that certain people will enter, say for instance in Hungary, and then they will make all their way from Hungary all the way to the UK and then look to seek residency there? I always thought it should be at the first port of call or the nearest port of call. And then that European country has an obligation to look after and then to process said individual. The other reason I mention this is because I am getting to the point where I believe that a lot of these countries are incentivizing certain individuals to bypass their country. So, for instance, if it's in Holland, bypass Holland and go straight to the UK. And by incentivizing them, I mean many different ways to incentivize them. Sometimes it could just mean turning the other way and pretending they're not there as they walk through. But yeah, so my question to everyone here, and my question to Keir Starmer is, whilst you and Macron are making plans to make us go to war, can you please ask Emmanuel Macron to bolt his front and his back doors and to make sure that certain people aren't getting out the back door, ending up here in Dover and at other ports and other shores here in the UK? Getting fed up with it, getting fed up. So you're talking big about how you're going to secure Ukraine's security. But how can you secure Ukraine's security when you can't even secure the security and the borders of the UK? Ukraine, UK, similar sounds, you could, but so different in how you're dealing with these issues. So Keir Starmer, I want to know what you're going to do and when you're going to do it, because this is getting ridiculous. 2,000 arrived in the space of the last 10 days. That is not acceptable. Anyway, guys, let me know down here in the comments section. I believe that a lot of the migrants coming here are being incentivized. I believe a lot of the migrants coming here are being given free route through these countries to make certain that they don't stay in these countries and make certain that they end up on the shores of the UK. And I want to know what Starmer, Yvette Cooper, what the Home Office and what all these new agencies are doing. They're talking big about smashing the smuggling gangs, but we don't see any evidence that that's happening. And we're not getting any happier. So you better fix up, look sharp, and do it real soon, because at some point we'll be knocking at your door and just saying enough is enough. Guys, make sure you look after yourselves, you look after each other, and please come back to the next Torn It TV reaction. Guys, take care.